Hey guys, Jester here. Today's episode of Storytime with Jester, I'm going to be going over the final module of the 7-module series, Queen of the Demonweb Pits, Module Q1. This is the culmination of the Giant and Drow series, and one of my favorite modules. It's also the last in the super module of GDQ 1 through 7, which just stands for Giant Drow Queen. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way quickly because there's not really a whole lot to talk about this, because the meat of it is in this right here. So basically, after you get done going through this whole thing, at the end they have some tidbits of information that the Dungeon Master can use in the main map found in D1 and 2 of the underground world, that the DM can take the players through to just give them more things to discover underground. So it gives you, let's see about how many. Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you got about 17 other encounter areas that the DM can flesh out with just the tidbits of information that's given here. So other than that, there's nothing really additional that Queen of the Demonweb Pits doesn't have. But like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this module. It's a compilation of all 7 modules and has the prologue and the chapters 1 and 2 that has additional adventuring information in it that leads up to this whole grand scenario. And then, of course, like I just now said, the 14 different encounter areas that the DM can expound on in the Underearth. Okay, so that one's done. Now to Queen of the Demonweb Pits. I love this module. You've got Loth in her drow human, or her drow form, not drow human, but drow form, surrounded by a couple of demons. On the backside here, you got Loth in her spider form. So after the characters finish up in the drow city, they discover that the drow are even being controlled by somebody, and that would be Loth herself. This takes them from Earth to the Abyss, specifically Loth's lair of the Abyss. And this, back in the day, was the representation of her web. When this first came out, I mean, this was just like incredible the way it was designed. I know later editions have expounded on Loth's realm and have made it different. Some things I like about what they did, and some things not so much. This is very simple and easy to understand, and with a creative dungeon master could be made to look just like what those later editions represent. But basically the characters go through all of these different levels, and basically what you have is the different layers of the webbing are different levels of the module. So you have each level gets harder as you go along, culminating in finding Loth on her metal spider ship. Crazy thing there, this thing is. It in itself has 4 levels to the ship. You have all kinds of encounters with her and her minions on board. This is one of them, and this is actually what I'll be showing you towards the end of this video with my terrain scene with the miniatures. But in any case, straight to the module. This was a different world, a different way of exploring. Basically, the great thing about old school D&D is that Gary, and that'd be Gary Gygax, and his original crew loved to place the player characters in unfamiliar situations so that they would have to actually use their brains as players, not as characters, but as players, to overcome the situation. Basically take them out of their element. D&D sometimes can get very rhythmic and same old type of thing, where the players know what to expect. And so they love to change that element and make everything unpredictable and totally foreign, and make the players be creative and really stretch their minds. And that was pretty much what early D&D was all about. It really focused on the players, not the characters that the players had. The characters were a byproduct. I mean, there wasn't so much emphasis put on what the character was as it was what the player brought to the table. And I do think that's been sorely lacking in later editions, specifically this last one. But in any case, I digress. So the first 6 modules, the Giant series and the Drow series, was written by Gary Gygax. The Queen of the Demonweb Pits was written by Dave Sutherland. It was written by him from notes from Gary Gygax, but Gary had other projects going on and didn't have time to actually give this the full attention that it needed and deserved. So after a conversation between him and Dave, they decided that Dave would do this, and he did a wonderful job in my opinion. And it takes you through, like I said, the abyss. The players encounter things with their own characters that are unexpected, and they encounter tons and tons of spiders, which would be expected from the Queen of Spiders in her own lair. But beyond that, there was also the ability to visit not necessarily alternate, but other worlds, which just took the plane hopping to a totally new dimension. And you could have entire mini campaigns there if the characters chose to do so, or just come back out as quickly as possible to stay focused on their overall goal of finding Loth herself. Again, the artwork, I just love the artwork. This is a picture of the Yaklol, which is Loth's handmaidens. They're an amorphous form in their natural state, and but they can change forms into things that are known to players. But I love this photo here, or this rendering. And like I've already shown you, the one there and the one on the back, just great artwork. Here's one of them. Here's a fortress in one of the worlds that they have a chance to visit. Just crazy stuff in here. But I'm not going to really go on about a whole lot to this. I mean, I don't want to detract from being able to experience it for what it was meant to be experienced. Great module, absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, when I as a player originally went through the Giant and Drow series, wasn't actually able to play this module with my group. It was during the Navy, and we all went our separate ways right at the end of D3, and sadly enough, we did not able to play this. But in any case, once I started DMing pretty much full time, I did take my characters through the whole thing, starting with the Village of Hamlet. So actually I did Village, Slavers, Giant, Drow, Queen, with some other modules kind of mixed in there in between. But in any case, very pleased with what happened, and yeah, just don't want to say any more about it. So we're going to go straight to the terrain and miniatures. So be right back. Alright, so here we have kind of a depiction of what you see on the super module, with Loth surrounded by her Drow priestesses and demons, with the Mind Flayer there along with it. And then there's her in her spider form, and then we've got the battle upon her spider ship, which has the Drider there on the right, and then you have all the different little creepy crawly creatures that the module depicts. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did thoroughly enjoy it, painting it and putting it together. Alright guys, well that wraps up this edition of Queen of the Demonweb Pits. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, and as always, see you soon.